They say women are either alpha or beta. But let me tell you something. There is another kind. Rare. Untamed. Unapologetic. That's the Sigma woman. And if you're still listening, maybe, just maybe, it's because you know there's something different about you. Something powerful. Something that refuses to fit in. So let's go straight in. Here are the signs, the undeniable truths, that you are a Sigma woman. They say the loudest people in the room hold the most power. They say attention is the new currency, and everyone is chasing it like oxygen. But for you, it's different. You don't beg for eyes to turn toward you. You don't hustle for applause. You don't shrink yourself into someone else's mold to fit in. Instead, you walk through the world with a quiet conviction that radiates louder than any shout. You are unshakable in who you are. And because of that, approval doesn't become something you chase. Approval becomes something that naturally finds its way back to you. Think about it. Every single day, most people wake up starving for validation. They need the text back. They need the compliment. They need the like, the follow, the nod of approval from someone else just to feel steady. But you're different. Your self-worth isn't determined by the outside world. It's anchored deep within. You've built it brick by brick, scar by scar, lesson by lesson. That's why your energy carries weight. When you speak, people lean in. When you move, people notice. It's not because you demanded their approval. It's because you never needed it in the first place. And here's the truth society conditions us to chase status, to chase attention, to chase acceptance at any cost. But chasing always leaves you exhausted. Chasing always leaves you behind. That's why the Sigma woman refuses to run after anything that isn't already aligned with her. She understands something vital. True power is magnetic. When you stand in your authenticity, when you own your presence without apology, people can't help but gravitate toward you. Not because you force them to, but because the energy you hold pulls them in like gravity. You've probably seen this in your own life. The times when you walked into a room without saying a word, and yet every head turned. Not because of your outfit, not because of your status, but because of the undeniable aura of someone who knows who she is. That aura can't be manufactured. It can't be faked. It comes only from knowing your value so completely that you don't need to shout it. You don't need to prove it. It simply exists. And in a world where most people are desperate to be noticed, your stillness, your composure, your unapologetic presence becomes unforgettable. This is why people admire you, even if they don't admit it. This is why they sometimes envy you, even when they can't explain why. They see something in you they don't see in themselves. The ability to walk away from the crowd and still stand taller than everyone in it. They recognize that you're not bending, not chasing, not deluding yourself just to be liked. And the moment you stopped needing external validation was the moment you became untouchable. That's the paradox. The less you seek it, the more it seeks you. So when I say approval chases you, I don't mean you sit still and do nothing. I mean your life is rooted in an unshakable sense of self. I mean that every room you step into, your energy precedes you. I mean that the right people, the ones who truly matter, find themselves drawn to you without you lifting a finger. Because when you carry yourself like a woman who knows she doesn't need permission to exist fully, you become undeniable. You stop chasing and you start attracting. That's not arrogance. It's alignment. That's not ego. It's power. And if there's one truth you carry with you after this, let it be this: you are not defined by who applauds you. You are defined by who you are when no one is watching. Own that. Embody that. Leave that. Because once you do, you'll never have to chase approval again. It will chase you. Always. Most people are terrified of silence. They fear the stillness because in the quiet, there's no distraction, no noise to drown out their thoughts. They run from themselves by staying busy, scrolling endlessly, surrounding themselves with people just to avoid confronting who they really are. But you're built differently. Solitude doesn't scare you. It fuels you. It doesn't feel like emptiness. It feels like home. Because you know that in the silence, you meet the truest version of yourself, the one that doesn't need an audience to exist. Being alone is often misinterpreted as loneliness. They are not the same. Loneliness is craving company and not having it. Solitude, on the other hand, is choosing your own company because you value it. You understand this distinction. You don't seek out crowds for the sake of filling a void. You choose carefully, and sometimes you choose no one at all. Why? Because you've discovered a truth most people never grasp. Your energy is too precious to waste on noise, and your presence is too valuable to scatter everywhere. That kind of wisdom sets you apart. In your solitude, you sharpen your vision. You think clearer, dream bigger, and plan with precision. It's in those moments of quiet that your ideas are born, your strategies are crafted, and your strength is rebuilt. The world thinks growth happens in the spotlight, under constant validation and attention. But the Sigma woman knows growth happens in the shadows, in the silence where no one is watching, where no one is clapping, where it's just you and your reflection, molding yourself into the woman who will walk back out stronger than ever before. And here's the paradox. Because you thrive in solitude, when you do step into the world, your energy feels unstoppable. People wonder where your confidence comes from. They can't understand how you seem so centered, so grounded, so untouchable. It's because you've already fought the toughest battles in the quiet. You've already confronted your doubts, your insecurities, your fears, without needing an audience to reassure you. And once you've done that, once you've mastered yourself in silence, no external noise can shake you. That's why people feel your power, even when you say nothing. This independence unsettles others. It confuses them. They can't comprehend a woman who doesn't constantly need company to feel complete. They ask, how can she be so comfortable on her own? But what they don't realize is that solitude has gifted you something rare of freedom. Freedom from dependence. Freedom from needing constant validation. Freedom from fearing abandonment. When you're whole on your own, when you're capable of enjoying your own presence, no one can control you with absence. That kind of liberation is terrifying to those who have never experienced it. So don't ever mistake your solitude for weakness. It's your fortress. It's the sacred space where you recharge, where you rise, where you prepare to conquer whatever comes next. While the world is distracted, drained, and desperately seeking noise to fill their void, you are building empires in silence. And when you finally emerge, people will call it sudden success. But you will know it wasn't sudden. It was the power of solitude. It was the discipline of choosing yourself first. And if the world misunderstands your solitude, let them. Because while they are busy chasing noise, you are busy building greatness. Remember this: solitude isn't your weakness. It is your weapon. Power isn't always about volume. Power isn't about who can speak the loudest, who can dominate the room with noise, or who can throw their weight around to be noticed. Real power, the kind that cannot be ignored, is quieter, sharper, more deliberate. You don't need to raise your voice to command attention. You don't need to demand respect, because it already surrounds you. When you walk into a room, your presence does the work before you even say a word. That is the kind of authority you carry. This is what sets you apart. In a world where people scramble to prove themselves, to be seen, to be heard, you hold back from the chaos. You choose your words carefully, and when you speak, it matters. Your silence is not emptiness. It is loaded with strength. You understand the power of restraint. You don't waste energy trying to convince anyone of your worth, because you already know it. And the world responds to that confidence in ways louder voices could never achieve. Respect is not something you chase. It's something you embody. Think about the people who have left the deepest impact on you. Were they the ones constantly shouting, constantly desperate to be noticed? No. The ones who leave a mark are the ones who didn't need to force it. They carried a presence, a calm, a confidence that demanded respect without asking for it. That's who you are. You are the woman people can't dismiss. Not because you scream to be heard, but because your energy commands acknowledgement. When you walk into a room, people straighten their backs. They pay attention. They adjust. That is the quiet authority of a Sigma woman. And let's be clear, this isn't arrogance. It isn't about walking with an inflated ego. It's about walking with self. Respect so deep that the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. You don't need to fight for attention. You don't need to prove yourself. You are steady. You are secure. You are unshaken. That unshakable core makes people instinctively treat you with a different level of regard. Even those who don't understand you, even those who envy you, cannot help but respect you. Because respect is not optional when it comes to you. It is the natural response. Of course, not everyone will admit this openly. Some will test you. Some will try to undermine you just to see if they can get a reaction. But here is where your greatest strength lies. You don't react with chaos. You don't lower yourself to pettiness. You don't let noise drag you down. You respond with composure, with clarity, with that piercing calm that makes others realize they are outmatched. You don't need to win battles with words. You win them with presence. And presence, unlike noise, cannot be ignored. That is why your respect lasts. Because respect born from fear fades. Respect born from intimidation disappears the moment you walk away. But the respect you command, rooted in authenticity, in unshakable confidence, in undeniable energy, stays long after you've left the room. People remember how you made them feel. They remember the strength you carried without shouting about it. They remember the power in your stillness. And that is a legacy no one can erase. So remember this: real respect doesn't scream. It resonates. It doesn't demand. It compels. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. You don't have to chase respect to receive it. You are the woman who commands it by existing. And that is a power the world will never be able to deny. Most people live their lives inside invisible cages. They follow traditions, social expectations, and unspoken rules that dictate how they should think, act, dress, and dream. They move like shadows of one another, afraid to step outside the lines that society has drawn for them. But you are not built for cages. You are not designed to follow a script written by someone else. You are a disruptor of norms. And that is what makes you unforgettable. You don't ask, what's acceptable? You ask, what's possible? That shift in mindset is your rebellion, your revolution, your edge. Being a disruptor doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean tearing everything down for the sake of chaos. It means daring to challenge what everyone else has accepted as truth. It means looking at the rules that have been handed to you and asking, who created these rules? And why should I follow them? Most people never question. They just obey. But you, the Sigma woman, you see through the illusion. You see that those rules were often built to keep you small, silent, and safe. And you have no interest in living small. The world fears women like you because you don't wait for permission. You don't shrink yourself to fit in, and you don't bend to pressures meant to tame you. You create your own path, one step at a time, and sometimes it looks nothing like the path others expect. That is what unsettles them. They can't predict you. They can't control you. You don't play by the rules, and that makes you dangerous in the most powerful way possible. You are not a follower of trends. You are the reason trends exist. Your refusal to conform is the spark that forces others to question themselves. And let's be honest, breaking norms is not easy. It will invite criticism. It will invite whispers, resistance, and doubt. People will call you difficult, rebellious, arrogant, or even selfish. But what they're really saying is this: you're not easy to control. And that's exactly the point. Because women who disrupt norms become the women who change the world. Every great shift in history began with someone who refused to obey blindly. Someone who had the courage to say, this isn't enough. There has to be more. That courage lives in you. What makes you powerful is not just your refusal to follow. It's your ability to lead by example. You don't demand that others follow your way. You don't force people to adopt your vision. You simply live so authentically, so boldly, that your very existence becomes proof that there's another way to live. People see your courage, your choices, your independence, and suddenly the walls of their own cages start to crack. That's how you inspire, not by preaching, but by embodying the freedom they secretly crave. And when you live like this, you become unforgettable. Because disruptors are never forgotten. Followers may fade into the background, but the one who dared to break the mold is etched into memory forever. You don't have to beg for legacy. You are building it every time you choose authenticity over conformity. You are not just walking your own path, you are creating a road where none existed before. And one day, others will walk that road because you had the audacity to carve it. So never apologize for being the woman who breaks the rules. Never silence your vision to make others comfortable. Remember, this conformity may make you safe, but disruption makes you legendary. And you, without question, were born to be legendary. In a world obsessed with numbers, follower counts, friend lists, connections, and circles, you choose quality over quantity every single time. While most people crave to be surrounded, you choose to be selective. You know not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and that kind of discernment is rare. Your circle may be small, but it's unshakable. It's built not on convenience or surface level connection, but on loyalty, respect, and a shared understanding of what true value looks like. And that's why your relationships, though fewer, run deeper than oceans. This is what people don't understand. A large crowd does not equal true support. Many have hundreds of so-called friends, but the moment life tests them, those friends vanish. You know better. You've seen what happens when loyalty is tested. That's why you guard your energy like treasure. You don't waste it on people who drain you, betray you, or fail to respect you. You give your trust carefully, and once given, it means something. And because your standards are so high, the people who earn a place in your life understand the privilege of it. They know they are not disposable, but chosen. Your circle is small because your standards are not negotiable. You will not water yourself down to keep the wrong people close. You will not tolerate disrespect just to avoid being alone. You will not compromise your peace for fake companionship. That's the strength of the Sigma woman. You would rather stand alone in silence than sit surrounded by people who don't value your worth. And when you do find those rare souls who see you for who you are, you protect them, you honor them, and together you rise. This makes you intimidating to others. They look at your boundaries and call you cold. They look at your independence and call you distant. But the truth is, you simply refuse to confuse access with closeness. You understand something most people don't: access to your time, your energy, your space is a privilege, not a right. And because you carry yourself this way, those who are close to you treasure that access. They know your love is rare, your loyalty unshakable, and your presence powerful. They don't take it for granted. And here's the beauty of a small, strong circle: when storms come, you don't collapse. Your foundation is solid. You don't have 100 fragile connections that scatter under pressure. You have a few unbreakable ones that anchor you. They hold you steady, just as you hold them steady. That kind of bond doesn't just survive storms, it grows stronger through them. Because loyalty, once tested and proven, becomes iron. And you only keep iron in your circle. This is why your life feels different from others. You may not be surrounded by noise, but you are surrounded by substance. You may not have a crowd chanting your name, but you have a few who will stand beside you in silence when it matters most. And in the end, that's all you need. Not hundreds of hands clapping for your success, but a few hands strong enough to lift you when you stumble. That's not weakness. It's wisdom. That's not limitation. It's strength. So remember this: your circle does not need to be big to be powerful. Let the world chase crowds. You were never meant for that. Your power lies in your selectivity, your loyalty, your unshakable standards. And that is why, no matter how small your circle may seem, it will always be stronger than the largest crowd. Attraction is one of life's great mysteries. People spend endless hours trying to manufacture it. Through appearances, through charm, through rehearsed words, and calculated actions. But the truth is, the harder you try to be magnetic, the less magnetic you become. Real attraction isn't about performance. It isn't about pretending. It isn't about putting on a mask for the world. Real attraction happens when you stand fully in your truth. And that's why you, without effort, draw people in. Your magnetism isn't rehearsed. It's real. The Sigma woman doesn't need to chase attention. She doesn't need to be the loudest, the flashiest, or the most obvious in the room. Her power comes from being deeply authentic. In a world obsessed with image, she is substance. In a culture addicted to pretense, she is raw truth. People can feel that difference even if they can't explain it. They lean toward her energy because it feels rare. It feels honest. It feels refreshing. That kind of authenticity cannot be manufactured. It can only be lived. And the irony is this: by not trying to attract, you attract more. By not performing, you outshine the performers. By simply existing in alignment with who you are, you draw people who are starved for something real. They may not even know what pulls them toward you, but it's undeniable. You hold a presence that doesn't scream.